Greetings, everybody. Welcome to our podcast, Tea Time with the Blade Crew. All right, I'm going to redeem myself this week and make sure I announce everybody's name. I know last week I kind of messed up and missed Bax's name. I do apologize again. So we got the Blade Crew. We got B-L-A-D-E, B for Bax, L for Laura, A for AJ, D for Donald, E for Elisa. So don't forget, yes, I got it. All right, I redeemed myself. Now, if you're sitting here listening to our show and you're wondering what the heck am I talking about, this is a good opportunity to hit pause and go back to last week's show. We need you to listen to our shows. We need to have you listen.
Where we effectively took out one of our members.
Exactly. I forgot Bax. Deleted Bax.
It's all good.
And then during our practice show, I forgot Lara one day. I mean, I'm on a roll, but I finally redeemed myself. So don't forget to like.
You take out back, they'll be laid, not blade.
Yeah, laid. Don't forget to like and subscribe our podcast on Apple iTunes. Just to search Tea Time with the Blade Crew. Same thing with Podbean and our own Facebook page, Tea Time with the Blade Crew on Facebook. If you want to reach us via email, bladecrew2020@gmail.com. Make us sound legit with the Gmail. You know, we should be like, crew at Gmail or I don't know. But I'm just rambling. So how you guys doing? What's going on?
Oh, man, we're good.
Going good?
You also forgot our YouTube. We are on YouTube as well.
Oh, yes. And, of course, it's on my notes. YouTube, the Blade Crew. Tea Time with the Blade Crew.
You'll get it one day.
I'll get it.
Right one day.
I'll get it. Exactly. So, Elisa, you doing well? I see you're debuting your new microphone. Got it from Amazon this week. Got it early this week, didn't you?
Legit.
We're getting legit, guys. We're getting legit. It's legit. So I didn't not have any luck with the ice cream Ben & Jerry's. No luck. I know we were...
Ben & Jerry's, send us some.
Yeah, exactly.
Does anyone know Ben & Jerry's?
If you guys are sitting there listening to the show, like, what the heck are they talking about? Listen to our previous show. You
tweeting at them.
Got to listen to our previous show. But yes, I know. We were talking about Chip Happens ice cream. We were all going to try it on the air this week, and nope.
I feel like tweeting at them, being like, hey, can you just send us some,
yes.
do us a solid?
Exactly.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I don't think it's out yet, though. I went to Publix, and I was staring at every single little Ben & Jerry's little pint thing, and I read each of them, and the Publix guy came up to me, and he's like, ma'am, are you okay? And then me and him spent 20 minutes looking for it too.
At least they made an effort.
Walmart's website, but it didn't say order now or whatever. So I was like, how am I supposed to get it? It's such a tease.
Yes, it is. Matter of fact, last week after the show, I looked at Walmart.com, and then the nearest Walmart was Dunedin, which was a good half hour, 40 minutes away from my front door, and I was like, all right, let's see if there's another store. I was like, I don't know if I want to drive 40 minutes, especially with all the craziness going on, and I don't want to be on the road if I don't have to be.
Oh, you should have done it for the podcast.
I know.
Seriously, take one for the team.
Yeah.
I know,
exactly.
I know, but I did have to work.
I'm just kidding.
I did have to work. If I was still quarantined, I could say, okay, maybe, I could make my way out of the house, but guess what, everybody? I got my hair cut on Monday. I'm so thrilled.
That's what's up, man.
Awesome.
Did you wear your mask and all that stuff?
I did not wear a mask, but the girl who did cut my hair, she did wear a mask. I end up calling Monday morning, starting around 8 o'clock, because you were thinking, okay, you're closed for 45 days or something like that. You'd kind of be eager to open up your salon and get things going. I mean, heck, if I owned the salon, I would have been open up 5 a.m. to get all those customers in there that's backlogged. No, but so I started calling 8 o'clock. Nobody answered the phone. Then 9 o'clock rolled around. Nobody answered the phone. Then a few minutes after 10 o'clock, somebody answered the phone at one of the salons I placed. She was like, oh, no, I'm sorry. We're not opening up until tomorrow. We're getting things set up today. And I just wanted to say to her, I was like, really? Closed for 40 days, 45 days. You really don't have the eagerness to open up your salon sooner? I mean... Come on. And then the other places didn't even answer the phone. I finally got an appointment at around 3:45, 4 o'clock, somewhere around there. It was some place I never been to, but it was close enough to my residence. And I got a 4:45 open. Can you be open? It's like, be there, done. So it did cost me a little more money.
You just trust any barber, bro? You don't have a specific barber that you go to?
No, I used to have a specific person to cut my hair, but unfortunately, she passed away a number of years ago due to cancer, and
Man.
I haven't found anybody that I really liked, and I'm still searching for a good one to. I got to be particular. She did a great job on my hair, but I like the scalp massage. I like the washing. I don't know that extra scalp massage. I don't know if you guys ever had one, but it's just relaxing, and this is just a little treat for me. And I really haven't found a hair place unless I go to like a salon. I went to a place years ago. It was called The Difference for Men down in South Tampa. It was a high-end salon, and I mean. Men are it's catered to men. They did manicure, pedicures. The Bucks players even show up there. In fact, I was getting my hair done, haircut, and one of the Buccaneers sat down next to me at the next booth over to get his manicure done. It was pretty cool, but they closed
awesome.
up. Yeah, it was a difference. We were on I think South Lois Avenue or something like that. But I don't think they're there anymore. But yep. So that was my exciting week, and just went to work and nothing else. So what's going on with you guys?
I have an update on the Reddit thing.
Oh,
Remember last week? Okay, so right before we got on here, the guy messaged me again, just out of nowhere. Well, I posted a selfie. I'm not gonna lie. So I posted a selfie, and it just said just lounging around. And then he messaged me and he said, "Hey, since you're lounging around and you're not doing anything, do you want to do a video chat?" And then I said, "I'm about to do my podcast." Then he goes, "Of course, it's always something."
oh boy.
And I said, I literally have a podcast I said, I might be free at 2:30. And he's like, "So you're going to turn down $400 for a podcast?" And then he was like, "Fine, 2:30 then." And then he's like, "We'll see what happens."
Okay, so
I don't know.
so-
He's crazy, but I'm going to do it because I want money.
this is
he's
today.
crazy.
Oh, this is today.
Yeah.
I thought it was
today
last
after
week's show.
our podcast.
Holy cow! Well, then make sure you promote
So we'll
the.
have an update next week.
Yes, we'll have an
I'll let you
update.
know if
So-
he deposited the money.
I'm gonna give you a little bit of game. He's really you in, okay? So just be careful. Just be careful. Like he's definitely throwing this game out there. He's definitely trying to reel you in. But just be careful. You feel me? I'm not telling you not to. I'm not telling you to. You're a grown woman. But he's throwing this game out there to try to reel you in.
I'm
That's the
definitely
beginning.
aware of grooming. Thank you. I'm definitely aware of grooming tactics. So I have my standards. I'm just going to do a video chat. If it's anything else, I'm just going to hang up with him.
Got to
Okay.
collect the funds first, right? That's what we learned last
Yeah,
week.
of course.
Collect the funds first. Yeah, make sure your kids don't get into the picture and all that.
Oh, they're not even here today. So
Oh, okay, good.
I would never do that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly what Beck says. You never know. I mean, grooming you, and then who knows if they take snapshots of the screenshots, and then you end up somewhere that you don't want to end up being. But
Right.
just be careful. We love you, Laura. We just don't want to see you, something bad happen. But yeah, well, definitely keep us posted. Dax and Elisa, what's going on?
Nothing much, man. We just chilling. It's been a lot of news, a lot of good stuff, a lot of bad stuff, a lot of, I would say, the media is trying to incite a lot of different race wars and all type of stuff, man. So it's a lot to talk about, man. But I'm good, bro. I'm living life. It's sunny. I thought the sun was gonna be locked out yesterday, but it's hot today. So I don't know what to believe or what not to believe.
Yeah, did anybody hear anything more about those wild murder hornets? I just haven't heard anything all week.
No,
Me neither.
but remember when I did that segment on them, there was only a couple and they said they hitchhiked. So they were saying that they didn't colonize yet.
Just so funny how they say that.
They hitchhiked on someone.
they got the wing up in the air, like hey, like the thumb up.
Seriously.
They were in the
Just
airplane.
imagine a little sign.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about it.
Every week is something scary, man. It's a fair tactic.
Oh, I know. Hey, so
We're in Jumanji.
We are.
Real life Jumanji.
We got the Tiger King, the Murder Hornets.
murder hornets, I know. Hey, but restaurants are opening up 50% now here in Florida. I mean, did you guys hear that?
I'm excited. I want someone to take me out somewhere or just go with me to a restaurant because I forgot what they look like.
Tables and chairs and paper menus. But
True.
when Governor DeSantis was on the air the other day, did you guys see it on TV the other day? Him on talking.
No, I missed that.
Okay, I don't know what the deal is with this guy, but he goes on and on and on. I mean, up to the point I'm just like, blah, 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 blah. I mean, he just goes on for an hour talking about what they did and what's going on. But meanwhile, the news media people were like hyping it up. Oh, gyms and restaurants are going up to 50%. Governor DeSantis got a special announcement. I mean, like, what is the freaking big deal that he won't tell us? Like, give us a little snippet. He just goes on and on and on and on and on and on. It's like, enough is enough. Just get to the freaking point. I don't know if you guys agree with me, but it just aggravated me. In fact, the local Fox station here, Fox 13, had him on the news, and then they had him on for like a good 40 minutes. And next thing you know, they had to cut him off because they was like almost 6 o'clock, and he still hasn't got up to the point until I saw the breaking news like 20 minutes later. Oh yeah, gyms are opening up at 50% or whatever the percentage is of restaurants. It's like, dude, just get to the point. We don't care at this point. Just get to the point.
Do you think he was filibustering? Do you know what that is?
No, what is that?
Sorry, I didn't mean to say it like that. But it's like when a politician does not want to get to the point because they know it's not going to be taken well, or when they're trying to make it so that something works in their favor, they just talk shit the entire time until the end of their time.
Right. They talk until the bill is unable. They don't allow another person to talk. They'll talk on and on and on to exhaust the bill's purpose.
So he's like a genius. He's filibustering his own press conference. But I've seen people do that before.
Yeah, but I'm to the point that with anybody, I have certain family members that just goes on and it's like, get to the point. I don't care about what color nails you had on that day. Just get to the freaking point of your story. Has nothing to do with it. But I don't know. That's just me personally. But yeah, so gyms are now opening up starting Monday. Makes me wonder why they didn't get through. They have to wait through the weekend. Like, why Monday? Why not today? What's the difference between 2 days? And anybody have any insight, or maybe something I don't know?
Work week.
The work week.
Work week starts Monday.
Yeah.
But gyms are open like all the time though. I mean, sometimes.
Yeah, I understand that, but everybody's basing everything in a business model. So it'll be based on the work week start. Like, it'll start on Monday. Everything starts on Monday. Like, Publix is rescinding, they're going back to their old hours, and they're rescinding the early hours for elderly. Everything starts on Monday because that's the work week model. You understand? So, and I guess a weekend, even though it wouldn't be impractical to us, it would probably be impractical for the business model.
Okay. It's one way of looking at it.
Right.
I don't know. I just felt like, hey, everybody's all excited, but well, guess what? It starts Monday, and guess where I'm going to be Monday morning? Work. It's like, oh man, I got pushed out later on into the evening time if I want to go work out or something like that.
I still don't want to go anywhere.
You don't want to go anywhere?
No, I'm not trying to get sick.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Like, basically leading into my first topic, it's about how all these other countries did a lockdown before the United States. And then they reopened before we did, all of them. And now all of them are relocking down again. Like Wuhan, China, the place that it emerged.
Yeah, right.
They were virus-free for 5 weeks. And then they suddenly had a flare-up of 6 cases. But get this, the 6 cases that were a flare-up were people that had previously had the virus and it was dormant for 5 weeks and it flared up in them again and it got other people sick. So now they're saying if you've been sick with coronavirus, you can basically get other people sick after 60 days.
This is crazy.
Yeah,
this is like a bad fire that you can't put out. That you're trying to pat it out, and every time you pat it out, it pops up somewhere else.
Yeah, and them coming out with the vaccine, I'm a little skeptical of having a vaccine coming around just yet. It's too early because you don't know what the side effects are, what the lasting effects
I'm
are.
definitely not going to be the first round. I'm going to let other people take the vaccine and see how they respond, and then I'll do it.
I'm going to treat it like an Apple.
I do believe in vaccines, but I don't want to be the first one.
I'm going to treat it like the Apple updates. When a new iOS comes out on the iPhone, I wait like a couple of people. Exactly, because you hear horror stories like, I can't make a phone call. You know what? I can.
Or like when a new phone comes out and everyone tries to get it within the first few days, I'm like, nah, I'll wait.
What if the vaccine makes it worse? What if it turns them into zombies? That's why I'm not taking
Exactly,
the first
that's why I'm waiting.
Yeah, we'll treat it like the iPhone.
I'm going to wait till other people do it, and then I'm going to see.
Yeah, exactly.
My problem,
I don't blame
They're
you.
gonna be my little lab rats.
Donald, what are you saying?
my problem with the rush to get a vaccine on the market is it hasn't gone through the proper testing, and they're just trying to make money off of it without knowing the long-term effects. And just like somebody just said earlier,
Oh no, I doubt they're gonna let a vaccine go out without testing.
like just because this virus has come, now everybody's in a rush to make a vaccine. They don't want to do the normal procedure. They don't want to wait the normal 2 to 5 years. They want to get this vaccine out there, get this money, have everybody take it, and nobody knows what the long term or even the short term effects are going to be.
Right.
They said in Oxford, Oxford is one of the leading candidates to come up with the vaccine, and they're saying that it looks promising in the rhesus monkeys, that they're developing an antibody, and that is when they inject the monkeys with the virus, the monkeys don't get the virus. Okay, that's fine for the monkey, but I'm not a monkey. So I praise them for trying to get the vaccine started,
Right.
but everything needs to go its normal course. And I don't know about you guys, but the world is not ready to be open. I'm sorry. That's just the bottom line. The world is not ready to be. Everybody's just in a rush to make money. And if you've ever been out there in the street, everybody knows money takes care of itself. I think I said this before.
Yep.
Money takes care of itself. It doesn't need our help. We need money. Money doesn't need us. Money always takes care of itself. So the issue is not that money is having a problem. People are having a problem with money. And trying to get that dollar is going to wind up costing America and the world a lot more lives. That's just my opinion.
Well, that brings me back to what I was saying before. All these other countries like Germany, they reinstated their restrictions because they had localized outbreaks. South Korea, which had a success story of pretty much containing it, they just shut down again. Lebanon did as well, but they're also saying it's because people are being repatriated back into their countries from other countries. And then the only two countries that are not shutting down are India and Russia, and people are just dying over there. So I don't think they care. But yeah, I mean, I feel like we're going to be shut down soon. We're going to follow suit with these other countries. So go to the store, get your toilet paper.
Wasp killer. Yep.
Exactly.
And Ben and Jerry's.
I do want to talk about the other side because it's not as easy. It's not as simple as we're making it. Like, oh, we just want to open for money. There is a valid excuse, or not excuse, a valid reason for wanting to open. We can't just ignore that. We have to at least acknowledge it. There is a valid reason, and it's like my dad saying, he comes from Dominican Republic, which they don't have the comforts. A lot of them don't have the comforts that we have. Their houses are a lot smaller. They don't have centralized air, and the electricity goes out all the time. So can you imagine being in a house with your electricity gone, no air, a small house with nothing to do? Like, you're gonna want to leave. Like, you're gonna want to go out. And also, people do have to make money. Yes, money takes care of itself, but your phone bill doesn't stop coming. Your food has to be bought. Like, we do have to make money. And so that's people's worry. Like, we have to find a way to live. The coronavirus is not leaving. Like, let's just get that out of the way.
No.
It's not leaving. It's gonna be here, just like we have HIV or Zika, every other sickness and virus and whatever have you. We have to learn to live with that. So that's people's worry. And I saw a story that a lot of domestic violence is happening now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right. In other countries, domestic violence is a really big thing. Even here in America as well.
No, I understand because the stresses are real high and everybody is just, under just everything from the social distancing and you can't see certain families or you're not working and you're doing the online schooling and so forth. So I could understand that. I'm not saying it's right. Don't get me wrong. But it's just really messed up on how other things happen because of staying home, being quarantined and all that. So I don't know. We're just going to take it in stride at this point. Just keep your head up and just hopefully people just make it through and just, I don't know, find a different activity or something like that. I don't know. Just pick up a different habit.
My thing is the people that are so anxious just to jump back out and they're not taking the proper precautions. The people just, just going crazy, yay, just ready to jump back in. Like they're just about to jump back into a pool of Corona. Like they're not acting like this thing is real. Okay, if you're gonna open it back up, but you can't go back to normal, and people are ready to go back to normal.
Right.
And they are going to be the people, and they're going to be the people that bring the coronavirus numbers back up. I understand. Yeah, let's open back up. Let's make money, but there is a good portion of the population that's not taking this thing serious enough to keep everybody else safe. And that's the scary part about opening back up, because it's those people that are going to be passing it around. The people that don't care, that don't have a care. There's so many careless people running around here that just don't care about their lives. They don't care about anybody else's life. And it's like dangerous. They're the dangerous people. So, yeah, I'll be looking for a job from home. Like I said, I did start, my job is work from home, but because of the virus, they had to hold it off a little bit to try to get the background test. But I'm going to be working from home. I'm going to be doing everything else from home. I'll be moving how I move, like I'm going to move accordingly. Like there's a killer outside that can kill you if somebody sneezes on you. There's a killer outside that can kill you if somebody shakes your hand, and it's not going anywhere. And I'm going to move accordingly.
Well, I saw this article. It's like a barbershop guy, a barbershop owner, and he was like, fuck the government. He said that, and he was like, I'm going to open my barbershop before it was time to open. So he opened it, and then he had armed vigilante guards, basically just rednecks holding guns outside of his barbershop. But guess what happened? The barbershop owner got sick from a customer, and then he infected 10 of his customers. So I guess he's a COVID-idiot. I would call him that.
Our
I would agree.
idiot of the day.
So I definitely want to bring on this lady. I know her dearly. This is my aunt. Her name is Attorney Felicia Pitts Davis. She is running for judge in our city, Syracuse, New York. And the reason why I feel like it was important to have her on the show was because if we look at the news, we look at online, we see that there's been a lot of racial inequality going on, and there's been a lot of, we feel like the news is trying to like start some type of race war between, black minorities and, other different races. I feel like having her on shows that no matter what race you are, no matter where you're from, you can definitely make it. All you have to do is try. But it also shows that if we want to have our voices heard, we have to get out and vote. We have to get out and vote, and we have to appoint other people of color to these positions where they can have say-so instead of, crying and whining when things happen. We have to make it happen. So let's bring on Attorney Felicia Pitts.
Good afternoon, Felicia. How are you?
I'm great. How about yourself?
Doing well. Welcome to the Tea Time with the Blade Crew. Glad to have you on. We have Bax on the line as well. So are you Bax's aunt?
I am.
You are.
I am, and thanks for having me.
Very welcome, Bax.
Definitely. Yeah, my aunt, definitely a mentor. Definitely somebody to look up to in the family. She's definitely a matriarch of the family. A lot of people looked up to Auntie Felicia growing up in Syracuse, New York. That's where we're from. That's where she was born and raised, on a street in south side of Syracuse. And if anybody know about, Oakwood Avenue, it's on the south side of Syracuse. And a lot of people, they get into a lot of different things. But, growing up down on Oakwood, my auntie, she had a chance to make it out, and she excelled. And no matter the environment that, the street was. Now, I don't know if it was like that when, she was growing up, but I know when I was growing up, Oakwood had a lot of action. So I lived on the east side, but I was raised on Oakwood, and I loved going down to Oakwood because there was so much action and it was exciting to me. The church was right across the street. So, your grandmother and your mom definitely gonna have you in church. But as soon as church was out, I'm outside with the action. But as you get older and you see your aunt like being able to like make it out those type of environments and still excel, I just really wanted you to get on and just talk about what's going on and how that happened. And, I just want you to talk about your campaign because you are running for judge.
Absolutely. I appreciate the opportunity, nephew, and everybody. I think what Terrence just outlined is oftentimes the reality for African Americans and people of color in general. And him talking about the south side of Syracuse in the last maybe 8 to 10 years. Syracuse's south side and near west area has been deemed on a national level the third poorest area in America. So the poverty, lots of the issues that plague our communities in terms of health and finances was definitely there while growing up, a challenge, but yet and still, based on my parents' Southern culture, instead of seeing it as an obstacle, I was able to see it as an opportunity. So that's sort of the basis of my campaign. I've been an attorney for 26 years, and in those 26 years, the last 10 or so have been in private practice, where I've been doing criminal law, whereas before I was only doing civil. And so that has expanded my notions of the law. It informed why I decided to run for city court judge, and why I know, outside of all the other candidates, that there is a real need for parity in the courtroom and equity, and that in and of itself can change the outcome of a case. And so It is that background understanding that keeps me connected, that allows me to see my clients as more than a case number and just a name, but as a person. And that's the way I advocate on behalf of clients. And I would take that into being a judge. So often we sometimes find ourselves in court, and we don't really look at it in its most basic form. You are in court because there's a personal controversy, or there's an issue with a third party that you cannot solve. And so a judge needs to have a really good sense of people, so that a judge can understand facts and can balance those.
Right, and that's a real statement, Auntie, because they have to understand people. And a lot of times, in a lot of instances, people stand before judges that have no connection with who they are or what they've been through. So for me, I feel like it was important to have you on this show, because it's very important that people really get out, especially in Syracuse, but everywhere though, in every community, to get out and vote. Because if you don't get out and vote, you really don't have a voice. But you definitely got to vote for the people who are actually speaking for you. Would you agree with that?
I do agree with that. And often, I'll put it this way. In dealing with COVID-19, each state has dealt with it differently. As an attorney, and doing criminal law, I was in court every day. When they did the shelter in place, it didn't just affect people's jobs as we think about it from the perspective of whether or not you're going to be able to walk into Best Buy or some other establishment, but the courts here in New York State shut down. And so you were no longer able to walk. You're no longer able still, because we're still under the shelter in place. You're not able to walk into a courtroom. So you're not seeing a judge at this point. There are exceptions in person. So now things are being done virtually. Lawyers are not allowed to go into correctional facilities. We have to do it by phone, or if they have the capacity to do a visual Zoom kind of Skype kind of situation. So your depth as an attorney, your ability to interact with clients, your ability to understand their issues and to advocate for them is very, very crucial. And at the very same time, on an individual personal level, because in addition to being an attorney, I'm a wife and I'm a mom. And so understanding not only that my clients may be incarcerated, they want someone to fight for their rights so they can get out, they can be with their family, but then also the issues that COVID now brings. You may get arrested and you're brought into a facility, and now you have to deal with the fact that you can't do all of the different things that are being recommended to keep you safe. And so you have that push-pull that's going on. And I just don't want us as voters to lose sight of what's going on with COVID, its impact, because it has had a real impact on communities of color like Dyer, and fail to do the very thing that affects how the response has been nationally and state by state, because it depends on those who you put in office. So you are seeing the person who was voted in office 4 years ago, their lack of policies, their lack of proper implementation or preparedness. You have to still think about that, because we have elections.
Now, what are you seeing? I don't know if it's part of your type of law, but I see there's a lot of attorneys involved with their liability of of a business, because I don't know if I read somewhere or saw somewhere something about if somebody can sue a restaurant if they contracted the virus. So if somebody, is that even possible to do it? First of all, you have to prove that you caught the virus at 12 o'clock at, Joe Schneider's restaurant. I mean, are people just out there just to sue just to make them happy, sue happy and all that? Or is it an actual thing that could be in the future?
I believe, and I haven't had anyone approach me about a COVID-19 case from the perspective of liability of a vendor or proprietor, or even a governmental entity, right? Because you have to think about it. As we begin to shift back into, and I'm going to use this in quotes, regular life, what that looks like since COVID, we'll have to define. But we are obviously going to still be in social situations. Like we go to the grocery store, we go to the pharmacy. So we're still doing those kind of essential things. How much responsibility for those essential vendors can we place on them when we are still just discovering what COVID can do, how it can be transmitted? Mm-hmm. So it really comes down to what laws are put in place about prevention and about safekeeping in regards to what does a business need to put in place? Do you need to actually mark off areas in your establishment in terms of what's your 6 feet, whatever the standards are? Will it be your responsibility to require all patrons to wear a mask? In certain instances, maybe to even wear gloves. Right now, I don't think we have a cohesive set of guidelines and regulations, whether that's through the CDC or state by state. So I'm not sure what body of law will come out of this, but I'm sure there might be situations where precautions that need to be taken won't be, and that could create a situation that could lead to a COVID case being heard. But because we haven't had that before, they may be considered novel or new. I'm not sure. I don't know that I've practiced on a case where we've had a contagious disease that is known, and there were regulations and laws put out about how to deal with it that were not followed, and therefore you could trace liability back. But we also have to deal with the other questions. How do you trace it?
Yeah, exactly.
If people aren't symptomatic, how will they know? So I would think that you would be dealing with a body of cases like people did with HIV and all of those kinds of things, whether you are a known carrier or you have it and you're just very careless in what you do. That has to do with intent. Right. So that's more on the criminal side, but I'm sure that there are civil layers of it as well. Yeah,
because everybody's taken, I work for a government office myself, and, they take a lot of major steps, and everything from temperature checking to the particular person making the transaction is the only one allowed in, except for, different situations. But, there are a lot of different rules are being written as we speak, and it's changing on a daily basis as time goes on. And it's going to be very interesting on, what... you'll see in the future these commercials. Have you contracted COVID? Contact, Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe. I'm waiting for those commercials to come out. The biggest law firm in this area, I think it's like Morgan & Morgan. I think it is. They're on every city bus and all that stuff. So I'm waiting for something to come out. But yeah, it's crazy how people just take things and run with it at time. Personally, I'm not a sue happy person, so, I'll just take things in stride unless there's major negligence. But on the flip side, it's the proving, you may be sat at Joe Schneider's restaurant and walked out to the parking lot and somebody sneezed, in this public street. So, how do you know? That's my theory on what's going to happen in the future.
So we'll have to develop a different set of social graces and etiquette and regulations about what that means, and then set a bright line in the sand about what kind of behavior is reckless and what kind of behavior is negligent based upon the standard. So yes, how often do we get to see a body of law developing in front of us? Not in my lifetime.
Well, Auntie, I'm very thankful that you came on the show. Definitely, if you're in Syracuse, New York, you need to get out there and rock that vote. How do you think the votes are going to be coming in, Auntie, if the polls are not open?
Well, one of the things that the governor here in New York has done is has lifted what are the usual standards for individuals to request absentee ballots. So now, because of COVID, anyone is qualified to request an absentee ballot be sent, and then they will be sent out. I guess for me, 2 or 3 things. We still have the responsibility to look around at our community and say, who's going to represent us best? We still need to be invested in our civil and civic rights, because at the end of the day, particularly for communities of color, so many of those who went before us put their lives and their livelihoods and all of that on the line so we could exercise the vote, so we could impact a system that previously held us out. And so I know there's a lot of uncertainty. I know there's a lot of fear. I know that there are a lot of unknowns. But the things that we do know is we need to have people who represent us. The things that we do know is that nothing changes if we're not willing to, one, ourselves be counted, and to use our sphere of influences for good. And additionally, to be willing to be counted. These are the times when we read historically, like what were you doing when such and such happened? And so our children and our grandchildren will get the opportunity to say, what did you do in 2020 when COVID-19 was there? How did you keep yourself safe? How did you keep us safe? And what decisions did you make or did you fail to make? Because when you choose not to vote, that is a vote. And so I'm encouraging people not to let their fear of the unknown stop them from doing the things that they know to do. And voting is so important, and voting for candidates who reflect who you are, what you're about, and what your issues are so paramount. And I know that I'm one of those candidates, not only because I grew up on the south side of Syracuse, but because I understand what it's like to be vulnerable. I understand what it's like to be faced with obstacles and challenges, and still keep my humanity, and yet understand that I want my rights to be protected. So in order for that to happen for me, I have to be willing to give that to the next person, because we're all in this together.
That's awesome, Auntie. I'm glad that you came on this show.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
It was definitely awesome having you on here, and you always been the family lawyer. Whenever anybody get in trouble, we going to Aunt Felicia. You know what I'm saying? So, Auntie, I got in trouble, Auntie. I need you to look at this paperwork.
When Judge Judy retires, we'll see you on TV, right?
One day. Absolutely. You guys, thank you so much. Thank you for having these kind of conversations that helped us keep it real. And I just appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right. Have a great afternoon.
Take care.
All right. God bless.
Well, that was cool.
Yeah.
The message behind it was basically get out there and vote. Even though she was up in Syracuse, she's not in our jurisdiction or or everybody else listeners, But the point is, just get out there and vote, and your vote does count. And, it is also was fun to get a little bit off topic, just to what is her perspective on what's going to be happening in this new world that's going to come out in the future. Who knows? It's just interesting how things will change, especially on the law side now. But thanks, Bax, for getting her on. It was definitely a good.
Yeah, I love when she said no voting is your vote. And that, for Hispanics especially, it's so hard to get Hispanics like me to vote. Hispanic people are not voting enough. And it's true. If you don't vote, then that's you voting.
Yeah.
I never thought of it like that, but she put it into perspective. It's not, it is a vote. Not voting is voting for the other side.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thanks, Bax. I do appreciate getting her on. That was definitely a good message behind her. Hopefully, when is her election? Do you know?
I believe it's June 23rd, but don't quote me on that. I believe it's June 23rd.
Is that a primary or is that is that a primary or is that a actual general election day?
I believe it's actual general election day.
Oh, good. Yeah, definitely keep us posted.
Yeah.
Definitely keep us posted.
Any of our Tea Time squad in Syracuse, vote.
Yep.
If you want to say her name again so that they know.
Yeah, Attorney Felicia Pitts Davis. They know who she is. Our last name rang bells in Syracuse, New York. So Pitts and definitely the Davis, it definitely rang bells in Syracuse. Syracuse is a small city, so everybody know who we are. for the most part.
All right. Well, what else do we got before we wind down the show for the week?
Well, I want to bring up a new segment
Okay,
called
go.
Ridiculous Celebrities. Guys, I saw a story, which honestly, I'm not really surprised. When I read this article, I was like, yeah, I could see that. Kanye West, his bodyguard came out and spoke that Kanye West is his least favorite celebrity to work for because he is just a freaking prima donna, basically. Which I read this entire article and I was like, yes, I can see that.
Very demanding.
Apparently, according to his bodyguard, he has to stand 10 paces, 10 feet, whatever, however you want to calculate that, behind Kanye. Like, if they're walking on a sidewalk, he's got to stand 10 paces behind Kanye West at all
So they're
times.
already social distancing already.
They're practicing. Yeah.
Social distancing. And this, he was telling a story how they were at an event, and it was his first time working for Kanye. And they walked into an elevator, and Kanye's like, "Are you gonna press my button to go up?" And he's like, "I don't even know what floor we're going to." And he said Kanye started going off, like, "Didn't you call ahead of time to see what floor we're supposed to be on, blah, blah, blah."
You know, some of these
This guy,
some of these
I felt so bad for him.
celebrities.
He was like, listen, he gave him 3 options. He's like, either one, you press your own button and now I'll know for next time what button to press. 2, you tell me what floor you want to go to and I'll press the button. Or 3, you just stand here and keep yelling. Like, he had to go off on him. And it was so funny. But I can see that. I mean, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Kanye, but he has like the ego bigger than anybody.
I mean, I could see it, but I would have punched him because how are you going to stand in an elevator and then just stare at the buttons and expect someone else to press it? Like,
He was the guy from a few years ago at the American Music Awards or something like that, saying, talk about Taylor Swift or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's just a big ego problem. You know, I'm tired of some of these celebrities, you know. I mean, everybody's social distancing right now, and they're actually, you know, broadcasting from their houses. And I don't know about you. Okay, what's your opinion on this? What is your opinion on this? If people are broadcasting from their house and they're showing that they have all these big not famous things, but all these high ticket items, their cars, their, you know, luxury swimming pools and, you know, their fancy jewelry and all that stuff, are you asking for trouble, or people even care? Like, even though, you know, everybody, you know, is struggling these days, is it like more showing off? I mean, how do you guys feel about that kind of stuff?
Wait, are they like physically saying, "Hey, look at my car"?
Yeah.
Or are they just having
They'll
to
show their
it while
car.
they're filming?
They'll talk about the, you know, oh, look at all the stainless steel appliances in my kitchen. Or just think that they have, like, who cares?
They're like
it's
using
like
it as
MTV
props.
Cribs.
Quarantine edition.
Inspirational. I feel like it's inspirational though. You know, like
Think
I
so?
feel like everything is obtainable. You feel me? So when you see somebody else who's in a better position, I feel like, you know what, that give me a little inspiration to say, you know what, I want that too, or maybe I want that to be better. You know, so I don't look at when people show off their little trinkets and stuff like that as them showing off. You feel me? Unless they're just like rude and boldly rude and like looking down on you, shunning other people down. But like if you show off your trinkets and you got a nice car and you show it off, that's what social media is for. Everybody shows off on social media at some point in time, whether they're putting on a better filter to make them look better. That's showing off. You know what I'm saying? So
I feel attacked right now, but yeah, I do that.
no, I'm not attacking anybody. I feel like everybody does it. You feel me? Everybody does it. Like if I take a picture, I'm definitely gonna take a picture on my best angle. That's showing off.
Listen, I'm gonna post my microphone right after we leave here.
Everybody
posting
shows
it.
off.
Absolutely, post away.
But I will say, I saw a hilarious. I mean, it wasn't hilarious. It was hilarious to me. Celebrities, I don't remember which ones, but a bunch of them, they're trying to do, you know, inspirational things to try to get us through all this stuff. And they all came together to sing a song, like an inspirational song. I don't remember what song it was. I need to look it up. But it backfired on them because you can see that they're in these big mansions and all these places, and they're trying to be like, no, we're with you, we're all together, and everyone's like, yeah, you're in your freaking mansion right now, like,
Yeah, that's what I'm
Invite
thinking.
us to the mansion,
right? Invite me.
or let me use your yacht at least.
Okay.
But that does bring me to my other celebrity
Okay.
ridiculousness that made me upset. Ellen DeGeneres apparently is a ridiculous celebrity, and I love Ellen's show. Like, she is one of the funniest people to me. And apparently she's not as, if you've ever seen her show, she always says be kind to people
Yeah.
or be kind to each other. Apparently she's not kind, which is really sad. There was an article, this YouTuber, she's a very famous YouTuber for makeup tutorials. Her name is NikkiTutorials. I mean, that's her YouTube name. She went on to Ellen and she came off the show and said that her experience wasn't as she expected. Like, she expected Ellen to come up to her, you know, in her dressing room, to come up to her and be like, hey, how you doing? My name's Ellen, yada, yada, yada. And she didn't do that. And she was just saying she wasn't as warm and affectionate as Ellen portrays on camera. And with COVID now, you know, everyone's streaming their shows through their phones. And she can't have her entire crew with her. So she's not paying them. She's just paying like 4 or 5 crew members out of like the 30 plus people she usually works.
Doesn't she
And
have
they said-
billions of dollars though?
Yeah, exactly. And they said that there's no communication, like she's not checking in on them or letting them know, like, hey, are we getting paid? Are we not? Are we gonna help you with your show, or what are we doing? Like, they're just sitting there, like, unsure of what to do. And I just thought that was so sad, because Kanye, I could see him being a jerk. I'll be clean.
Yeah.
A jerk.
Yeah.
But with Ellen, I thought she was like a genuinely nice celebrity. So now this just has me questioning
So-
my celebrities.
She is an actress. I'll put that out there.
And
Yeah.
guess
Yeah,
what?
I guess.
I know you guys are not into conspiracy theories, but there's a conspiracy theory about Ellen right now. I'm just gonna say it.
Okay, go. Say it.
About Ellen?
Yeah. So have you guys heard of Drina Chrome?
Wait, the what?
So what?
Drina Chrome. So Drina Chrome. So Ellen is supposedly on house arrest right now, right? There's supposed to be a big indictment. This is conspiracy theory. Look it up. Look it up. Look it
Okay.
up.
I'm googling it right now as we speak.
It's a part of like the Obamagate and the Pizzagate thing, and the guy who had the island who killed himself. What is his name?
Oh, Epstein.
Epstein. Ellen
Oh, yeah.
supposed to be wrapped up in that too. So they say all the accounts are frozen. So that might be part of the reason why. You know I'm a conspiracy theory guy. So that might be part of the reason. So adrenochrome is a substance inside blood, right? That supposedly celebrities drink, and they get it from like kids. Remember when all the little kids were disappearing and things like that?
Oh, I found it.
These kids were getting tortured, right? And what they would do is they would kill these kids, and they would get the adrenochrome that builds up in a tortured kid's blood, and they would drink it to make them look young. Now,
Oh my God.
it's a conspiracy theory. It's a conspiracy theory, but
Our
there's a
show
lot of
took
people
a hard
talking-
turn.
there's a lot of people talking about it right now, and that might be the reason why Ellen is. Like, really
Wait,
upset right now.
listen. I'm not gonna say that you're wrong because I know that people put blood on their face in Hollywood to make it look your skin look younger, and yeah, it could be a real thing.
Them.
Yeah, they do all kinds of crazy stuff. And you're not the Alex
Than me.
Jones of our podcast. Don't worry.
So,
So that's why Ellen's the way she is.
Because she
I don't
drank
know.
blood.
Yeah, that's basically.
I just always
You
thought
heard it here, guys.
Ellen was a sweet, friendly, just keep going, Dory type.
Oh, I'm so free.
Yeah,
I'm not
I
gonna lie. Unpopular opinion. I hated Dory.
you hated Dory.
So-
I like
yeah.
Dory. Huh? What do you say? Huh? But all right, on the last topic here. Remember we were talking about this to our listeners. Let's listen to a few shows back. We talked about Tom Brady auctioning off his basically time in Jersey after the first Buccaneers and all that stuff, auctioning off his
Oh, yeah.
thing. So this YouTuber paid $800,000 to
Oh my
spend
God.
yeah to spend time with Tom Brady, either work out or go out to dinner. I don't know which one I would choose, but I think I'll go out to dinner. But yeah, and a free jersey and a Buccaneers ticket for the first game or debut game or something like that. But $800,000 to this YouTuber. The kid's like what, 25, 26 or something like that. Has anybody ever heard about this guy? What channel does he run?
No, what is his name?
Okay,
What's his name?
let's see. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought maybe you guys knew.
How the fuck? I mean,
Yeah.
how does a YouTuber have that much? Well, I guess YouTubers can make a lot of money.
They can make a lot, but you know what? How long did it take them to make that kind of money? And is that a smart purchase? Personally, I think Dave Ramsey would probably cringe.
Well, maybe them meeting Tom Brady would like boost their fame, you know?
Hey, you know what?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'm not sure what his name is. Elisa, what you were saying? What you know his name was?
Yeah, I found the article. It says 25-year-old YouTube star Logan 30-acre, that's one word, Logan, and then 30-acre, 2 words, sorry, reportedly paid $800,000 at a charity auction to have dinner with Tom Brady. Holy crap.
I wonder what kind of channel he has. Anybody ever heard of this guy?
No, but
Okay, it says here 30-acre is known on YouTube as Super Mario Logan, and he has over 8.5 million subscribers.
Wow.
Apparently, he uses puppets to create sketches based mostly around his love for Super Mario. What?
oh, so it's a bunch of geeks. Like
Basically.
they have a lot of money, probably. Yeah, that's
Oh
why.
yeah, I know a ton of. I mean, I don't know personally, but I know of YouTubers that have so much money. Like that. I don't know if you guys have little kids. Have they ever seen Ryan videos?
Yes. Oh my God, my 6-year-old wants a Ryan's birthday party because he's obsessed with that.
My mom was saying that little kid Ryan makes more money than all the YouTubers.
He's a billionaire.
And he's like
Wow.
9.
I think he's like
$22 million
7 or
a year.
something.
22 million back,
How much
Donald?
is it?
$22 million a year. Yes.
At 6
Do
years
you
old?
watch him?
Yeah. My grandson watches them all the time.
I
He
know.
makes
Yeah, my
Aren't they
nephew
fun?
loves his videos.
Jeez.
All he does is test toys.
Exactly, and kids are glued to it.
But to the Tom Brady thing, you know that all of these athletes and celebrities are part of the All In Challenge, and that's what this is for. It's,
Right.
The All In Challenge is a charity event where you donate, you auction off certain gifts or whatever, and the winner gets to spend time with you and do what you like. Someone the other day is in the All In Challenge, and you're going to spend if you win, you get to spend a day with her, be in her video. Athletes, you get to spend time practicing with them, just different types of things. And the guy, Logan 30-acre, is worth $5 million. So that $800,000 was like cheap for him.
Oh, yeah. Wow. I don't know. It just seems like, a lot of these big ticket auctions, yeah, that generates buzz, but on the flip side of it, the people like us, there's no chance in hell that I would get, a chance to win the auction at $800,000. I mean, I don't think anybody on this show even has that kind of money, but, they should just raffle off like $20 raffle tickets, in my eyes.
Well, it's not for us; it's for the charity. So
Yeah,
they're trying to get the person with the
like a
most.
But they're trying to raise money for people affected by the COVID-19 virus pandemic.
Yeah.
So that's why we're not going to, our $20 might be one person. Well, his 800,000 going to feed, a couple thousand.
Oh yeah.
A couple million people, I hope.
You have to look at it from look at it from that perspective. And I don't mind
good on you,
as long as
Logan.
somebody's getting something out of it, and as long as they're doing it for good. I mean, the money is not going to Tom Brady.
Right.
He's worth $400 million. So he doesn't need it.
No.
So
no.
it's going towards a good cause, and you get something out of it that you probably otherwise wouldn't get, because as famous a YouTuber as he is, he's probably not Tom Brady famous.
No,
So-
it's definitely going to create more subscribers, guarantee it. Yeah, I mean, it's a business sense. I mean, tax write-off, number one for him. And number two, he's going to get more subscribers because, heck, we're talking about, I never heard about this guy until like 20 minutes ago. You know what I mean? So, interesting.
I'm still not gonna watch him though. After I found out about the Super Mario thing.
Yeah, really. The puppets, nah.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
that's still definitely an original content, I guess.
Interesting.
Puppets.
All right, guys. We're going to wrap it up for the day, but it was a good show. Thank you to our listeners, and thank you to Bax's auntie, Felicia, running for judge in Syracuse, New York. I do appreciate her being on the show. Thank you. So don't forget to like and subscribe our Facebook page, The Tea Time with the Blade Crew. We're on Podbeam, and we are on Apple, Tea Time with the Blade Crew. Please like and subscribe our channel. And
we are also on Spotify.
Yeah, we are on Spotify. That's breaking news to me. Thank you. Wow, Spotify. So we're growing our platform. So more to come in the future, guys. So I do appreciate everybody being on the show, listening, and coming together this week. And you guys all have a great weekend. Anybody else have anything else to say before we leave?
If you do listen on Apple, leave us a 5-star review and a comment.
Yes, yeah, we have a small handful so far. I do appreciate those comments. Thank you very much. All right, guys, have a great week.
Yes, sir. You too.
Bye, everyone.
Take care.
Yeah.
Mhm.